3, 2, 1. We're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Naturally Silly. I'm Dylan.
I'm Zack.
And this is episode number 1 of our podcast. No.
Go ahead.
Apparently we got stray cats also on the set. How you doing this morning, Zack?
I'm doing good. This is what I got going yesterday. It's like the name podcast to start, and then some
What are you
names.
telling me about, Zack? What are we learning about?
We are learning about possible, I guess, what would you call it? A possible time or template for morning topics.
Okay.
Conversation
Yes,
topics.
we need to come up with topics.
Yeah.
If you guys ever have any topics, feel free to send them in. We'll come up with all the other info later about how to do that. We'll make an email. We'll make it all. Naturally silly.
Daily news, daily facts. Useless, silly, or useful would be like the facts like category.
Uh-huh.
Names, and this is some names I thought of. Podicist. Podacist. I thought of that last night. Useless facts being useful and silly. There's this name I was thinking of like a month ago. It's fairly close to naturally silly, and it was like a pun of a word or phrase where you would be like, okay, well that was completely uselessly useful. And I think that was the name, like uselessly useful or something.
Uselessly useful.
But that's not ringing right.
Yeah.
But it's close.
Yeah.
And then the to rest before shrooms, which was like my today's philosophy topic in a way, like
Wait, what was the other one?
to rest before shrooms, or to shroom knowing you can rest. Which is
Okay. Topic.
Yeah, a topic. Cause like, so if I, just because I like clear my physical area, doesn't mean like, it's not a surefire way to know that you have nothing else emotionally to do, right? So,
Got it. So is your goal on shrooms to not do anything?
A little bit. Yeah, I think that would be best. I think it would be best to be able to keep the dishes in the sink and then go relax for a while. Than to do the dishes before I was able to go relax, which is what I had to do. Not had to. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I ended up doing.
Yeah. Do you think, I mean, I can normally just let it go. No?
No, like, yeah, no, I mentioned last night when we were going in, I had this here, I had my bong there, the lighter, and it was like 1 trip, 2 trips, I had my glass jars. So like 2 trips, and then I ended up taking like 6 trips because I might have grabbed my bong first, and then I left this, it was the last thing I grabbed, and I like cleaned up my whole area, my box was put together and in my room, the kitchen was halfway cleaned up, I had no more dishes out here, like nothing out here. This morning I came out and had stuff from my room and like sat down, and there's nothing out here. I brought this brush out here this morning, and then in the kitchen, I like looked at the sink and I was like, oh my god, and it just kept compiling, because there's like a gnat fly flying around, and then Jolie left that tomato there, and that's what the gnat fly was there for. So when I cleaned that up, all my coffee grounds were on the table, and I was like, oh god, so I'm gonna have to clean that tomorrow. And
so this was all before the shroom trip.
No, this was before I went to go lay down to go to bed and like sit in my room and be like, oh cool, yeah, the shrooms are still going. Which they were.
I feel like we need to talk about that. 2 grams of shrooms, folks. We took 2 grams of shrooms. I think, and we came to note that it was we both took different strains, which I thought was interesting in the sense that it would make sense if we took the same strain. Yeah. And we both had the exact same effect, but. Yeah, 2 grams sent us flying yesterday, and to which you gotta, you don't gotta think this at all, but, it's like, maybe we had a cool little friendship connection yesterday,
I think so.
That was cool. I thought, I followed a certain rule, which I created last time I did shrooms with a friend, because I did 3.5 grams, like I was telling you, and that's a different person. That person needs to be alone.
That is a good point.
That person needs to be alone. And happily on 2 grams, it felt a lot more just like you could ease into it. It was relaxing. It was fun. It was giggly. Like it was emotional at times. I mean, lots of giggles though, for sure.
Huge amount of giggles.
Some paranoia. We got some good creek walk stories that we can maybe dive into a bit later. But no, I would suggestion here, take 2 grams take 2 grams or less when you're going to be with people, and maybe take 2 grams or more if you're going to be by yourself.
I'd say so, yeah. I think people get really crazy with wanting to take shrooms socially and like have that experience with other people. It's like, I don't know. I need to stop saying that. It's like, but it kind of it brings you into this realm of like nothing serious, which I even felt last night. I could have gotten serious maybe at some points about like the shrooms and how emotional they were at first, and really take apart each wave of shrooms. That would have been kind of cool to do, but at the same time it was very silly. It was a very silly thought process most of the time. Like, whoa, wait, whoa.
Yeah.
And like with the spiders and everything, you know, it felt very silly. On the left side of graspable and steppable steps. And it was like kind of sidestepping. It was nice.
Yeah, and I think that's what we wanted. Yeah, you know, exactly. I think we came in, they were birthday shrooms. You know, they were 100%. Awesome. Birthday Sunday, turned 24. Yeah, I know. It's that'll be fun. It'll be my, I think, second social distancing birthday party I'll be attending. This one will be my own. So that'll be good. I think. But no, back to like the whole idea of why we took the shrooms. I think God, you're gonna spread their own. I think going back to why we took them was, you know, to like we took under 2 grams for a reason. It was calculated, it was fun, and I think we came out with a lighthearted experience. You know,
absolutely.
I think that
there's no dark is a weird word, but there's no like heavy moments in my consciousness I was in throughout the night at all.
Except for the walk home.
Oh gosh, fucking ridiculous. That was kind of crazy.
Oh, might as well. I guess we can dive into it now. Yeah.
Gosh. We
had well, I guess no one was there to prove it, but I had an experience. We decided, and this is always a good idea, I guess, if you're going to do shrooms with a buddy, take that time to be by yourself. I think it is important to at least at one point or another just see where it takes you. Kind of let all your guards down, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we decided we walked this trail and we decided to split up. And so Zack keeps on walking and I go sit and I'm by this bridge. And I got my light with me, and the only thought in my head is, this is sure fucking perfect, but I hope no one fucking walks up, you know? It's just like, what time is it? Like 10, 11?
It was like 11.
Like 11 p.m. on a nice creek walk, which, how wide was that shit? If we go back to that experience, it was incredibly wide. Yeah, like we were saying, they can drive patrol cars. Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. I wonder. That's a topic we're looking into, is why the hell they make them just wide enough for the cars. What does that tell you about society and their want to control?
Yeah, absolutely. If they need to be cruising down the creek to like patrol it.
Yeah, well, I guess I would have been thankful for a patrol car. But so again, I'm laying there. At one point, I'm orchestrating the frogs. I'm feeling great, and of course, I see a bike coming across the creek. On the other side, there's 2 sides of it, just to paint a picture. And like I said, by the bridge, and they come across the damn bridge, and I flash my light because I'm like, all right, maybe they are innocent bystanders, maybe they're just trying to chill out, but
freaked out.
I was like, I kind of like being high. This is something I really enjoy. This is why I find empowerment, is when I'm high. If I get paranoid, I can almost always blow it off, even if it's real things I should be paranoid about, because I'm high. Oh. So I tell myself, like, even in scary situations when I'm high, I'm like, oh, fuck it. Like, you're high, it's made up, don't believe it. And then I move on. So I can kind of get past these weird kind of scary moments. Okay. By just telling myself, I'm high, you're high, don't believe it, you're high.
The best way to do it.
And so that's what I tried to do. These people fucking came up on me and I was like, nah, you're good, you're chilling, don't worry about it. And next thing you know, one guy kind of like mumbling or some shit goes right on by me. And of course they're together, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they had to have been.
I mean, they were at least walking physically together. You know, at the very least.
They could have met earlier that night, but still.
And you don't know what the fuck they got. You don't know what the fuck they want. And so one guy keeps on going, but one guy got a fucking scooter. He has a hunch. Like, he got like a fucking little... He's just leaning into his just wickedness, you know? He's leaning into it. And, yeah, and this guy starts looking under the bridge, and he's kind of shining his light, and it's a half-ass look, too. It's such a half-ass look. Like, I'm like, yeah, this guy is pandering right now. He is, like, looking for a reason to do something sketchy.
Yeah, exactly.
And, so, yeah, I get the balls, and I'm like, do you want something? And he's like, he pokes under the bridge with some, like, his scooter, and, like, I forget if he has a stick or not. Now this could just be all made up in my head. Never trust your memory, folks. This is all allegedly.
Is it a scooter?
But I feel like he was poking around with a stick under the bridge, you know? And he was like, I'm looking for a girl. And I was like, the fuck are you, Captain Jack? But no, it was hard. He's like, yeah, I'm looking for... And I was like, I haven't seen no one. He was like, yeah, are you sure? And I was like, dude, I have not seen anyone. And he's on a fucking scooter, and of course it just, on fucking shrooms, it brings back a memory you never thought of. And I was thinking about when that kid this girl in my city got a concussion from a scooter. She got jumped, and some kids hit her with a scooter, and she ended up going to a coma. So I'm not trying to get put in a fucking coma by some person with a hunch. I had my running shoes on. I almost wore sandals, but I was like, no, fuck that. Always wear your running shoes.
Yeah, I almost put no shoes on.
If
I did have no shoes on, I would have stayed local, though. I would have stayed closer.
Maybe it would have been better. But regardless, to cap off this pointless fucking story here, but not pointless, it's scary as shit. I end up just walking away from the guy. Like, I'm like, fuck this. Like, I even say it out loud. I'm like, fuck. And I just walk, and then the guy comes scootering past me, and then I step off to the side, and I'm like, just roll through, be fucking smart. And of course he slows down, and then he starts saying something about weed or some shit. And I felt like I was in Spain. If you walked out at night in Spain, it was like, weed, huh? Coca, weed, coca. They always just want to fucking get you in on it. I was like, what are you heckling me in the fucking creek for weed? Get out of here. And so finally the person keeps fucking pedaling on, and then I jump on the phone, and then of course at the end of the street, you know how there's like there's two little posts or whatever to stop the rest of the cars from coming in at the end, like if you look all the way down the trail. I thought those were people, and I was like, fuck, they see me on the phone, they think I'm calling the cops, they're coming back to fuck me up. And then I was like staring harder, and I was like, nah, that ain't them. Yeah. They're bitches. I'm braver than them.
I'm going.
And then I called you and freaked the fuck out and ran home pretty much.
Minimal information, too. You're just like some guys being...
Yeah, there's some sketchy guys
in what
over
way?
here.
Were they in a vehicle? What happened?
Yeah, I didn't mean to scare you. Yeah, you never know how much you want to let people in on your psycho... traumaticness when you're going through any kind of high experience together. It's you don't want to fuck up their trip, but you also want to make sure your buddy's safe. You want to make sure your buddy's safe out there. You don't know what's going on. Oh, so what about that topic you brought up earlier about what was the second part? To rest before shrooms, or to not rest before shrooms?
Or to rest before shrooms, or to shroom knowing you can rest when you're done shrooming or something.
I think that's a pretty easy. I think it's up to the person. If you need to get shit done, then just fucking do it.
Well, here's my question. Well, I guess not a question. You have to be careful, I guess, is my point, because like what I'm doing.
These packs there are shit.
They're crazy. I think
I'll talk about it. New ass fucking technology. These oils.
Yeah.
What one are you
Tropical
repping right now?
Bomb,
I got a Island Lemon Rick, a sativa. It'll brighten your fucking morning. Let me tell you.
We opened up the Hashberry last night.
Oh.
Hashberry's great. Tropical something.
Yeah, 420. Happy 420. Week of 420. 420. Beautiful. Oh, I'll raise a little cheers toke to that, my friend. Toke. Awesome. How was your 420, Zach?
It was good. What I do. 420, I worked.
How'd you celebrate?
I volunteered.
You worked? You volunteered. Yeah. Look at that. We got a humanitarian, folks.
Yep.
What was volunteering on 420 like?
It was nice.
Were you high?
I was stoned. I was late. It sucked.
Stoned and late. I think they expected it. I think they expected it.
It was too ironic. I was supposed to have one plan. It turned into like 4. And then at the end of the night, I went night hiking up on the top of Sonoma Mountain. Hey, go home. I went night hiking on the top of Sonoma Mountain at my buddy's ranch, which was awesome.
Yeah, we're coming to you from Sonoma County.
Sonoma County.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you're local, say what's up. Again, reach out on our
new email.
Our email.
Yeah, we'll have to get a Google Drive.
Unofficially official, naturally silly. We'll get logos and T-shirts. If you want to make logos, do it for us. But we'll try and be proactive. That'd be cool.
We'll do it first. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll try to.
Yeah.
If we end up getting actual fans. If anyone likes us out there and wants to help us, cool.
I think we're gonna perfect this.
Yeah, I think this is a cool ground roots idea.
Yeah.
I think I would like to make this podcast, if anything, a doers podcast.
Yes. Yeah, doers podcast. And I would like to make it full of useful news information. As well as
that's something you want to provide, you know, we're gonna figure that out.
Kind of.
I'll talk out some conspiracies.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have like 3 other people that would like to be involved.
We're thinking. I don't even want to say it. I don't know much about it. I'm talking out my ass. But we're like the Wu-Tang Clan of fucking podcasts,
exactly.
Right? Just kind of jump it around. I don't know shit about the Wu-Tang, except for there's a lot of them. That's what I'm referring to. There was a lot of them in the group,
which
and it seemed like, you know, there was never one expectation of one person being there, which I kind of liked. Right? It's kind of free and open to flow a little bit. It can travel. The podcast can travel. If you're not relying upon the same one person or 2 people every time. Okay, yes, maybe the content isn't consistent, but you know, you listen in to the podcast you like, you know, the people you like, whatever you want to do.
It could be generally consistent. Just ball line, you know. Same ballpark of tripping, same ballpark of conversation.
Well, I think the power of having so many people will be it will be like. It'll go in so many different directions. You can't control it. You can try. Yeah. You can try and say, hey, this is the direction we're gonna go. But
absolutely,
these conversations, I think, as much as they're gonna be guided, are gonna be a fun flow of where the fuck are we now? Yeah,
I'm gonna stay with conversations too. Great.
I think it'll be good for speech. I think
oh man,
I'm excited for a lot of the things to come.
Yeah. Speaking on camera is huge. It's a really big thing to get over with trying to spread your word, anybody's word, as the person, as a sermon.
Yeah.
You have to be able to posture yourself in a way that's not postured, you know? And you have to be able to, which I feel with shrooms and being with people you're not used to on shrooms, what you have to be careful with going above 2 grams would be second thoughts and self-conscious thoughts. and not wanting to impede on someone's thoughts and not wanting to step on someone's toes.
And that's that repeating, right? That we were talking about. Do we have a name for that?
No. Yes,
all right, I'm grabbing the computer.
No,
I want to get a computer
The first
going.
thing I want to get a hold of is the shaman mushroom. It's like the myceles. You remember what we were talking about? It's red with the white spots.
Yes.
It's that mushroom.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right?
Amanita muscaria.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the Amanita muscaria. Our little Christmas presents.
Yes. That will bring you to the door of death.
So I'm looking up currently, what is it? All these fucking tabs. And
oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. We can exploit kind of our nudists and everything, but newness, not nudeness. Me and my brother are thinking about starting an e-commerce online store, and I think that'll be fun to maybe track the journey of its successes and failures.
Yes. Yeah.
And, for anyone who wants to start a fucking business.
Yeah.
Again, we're Doers Podcast.
I'd love to check in on the podcast or on the website daily. Or
yeah. So what's a syndrome? What am I looking up?
You can look Panthera poisoning, 2 syndromes, and CBI, and that will give you.
And that's when people repeat themselves when they're tripping.
Yes.
Can you just give me one more time?
Pantherina poisoning.
Pantherina.
Spelled Pantherina.
Poison.
And then and it will come up with 2 separate syndromes.
Panther Camp, Amanita Pantheria poisoning case report. Poisoning 2. I see 2.
Used. Yeah. It comes...
2 syndromes. Alright, it says that Amanita muscaria contains more excitatory ibotenic acid and less depressant muscimol compared to Amanita Pantheria in study A. This is all confusing. I don't know. That doesn't mean anything.
What it's explaining. What website are you on?
I went to NCBI.
Okay. I thought it was bringing me there because that's where I told you to go, but it brought me to publishmed.gov, which is okay, I guess, because it is eligible. It says that the Amanita muscaria contains more excitatory ibotenic acid and less depressant muscimol compared to Amanita pantherina. So the muscaria, in layman's terms, will cause you to be more often agitated, or confused 26 out of 32 times, or 20 out of 32 times in the tests. A pantherina, which is the same mushroom, slightly different cousin, it would be the Amanita pantherina, only 5 out of 17 tests compared to comatose-like symptoms, where they felt maybe like not looping, but just absence of ability.
I think I'm too stupid for it. I don't understand much.
You would like, it would be like maybe you have trauma and you get stuck in a memory.
Yeah.
And in your memory,
you just reliving it. Okay.
And the person saw you walk into this memory, maybe accidentally in a conversation or something. And then you're sitting there and you're just stuck in like a 4-second loop, a 10-second loop, an 11-second loop. And it could be an action, or it could be a verb, or it could be a phrase. I had a friend when I think I was 17, she was reaching out. She was like, oh my God, dude, I was with my homeboy last night and we took fucking mushrooms. They must have taken Amanita muscaria, because she said he got stuck in the looping syndrome. And it scared the living shit out of her, because he just kept saying the same thing over and over and over. And I think
there's no reality at that point.
When did it start? Because he liked her, and he was thinking that she was talking to some dude. And it was such a simple thing. When did you start talking to her? He's just like, when did it start? Why are you lying to me? When did it start? You don't have to lie to me. When did it start?
That doesn't sound like a loop. That sounds like he was fucking questioning her.
Well, yes, but
that's not a loop.
That's such a simple thing to do. And then he got stuck in a technical loop where he literally could not stop saying 4 or 5 words in a circle.
But I think his head was, like, I wasn't there. I don't know. But it seems like his head was on the track of it. Like, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Like, to me.
That's what it would be. You'd be like, oh, I miss my mom. Maybe she's dead. And then you're just like, why can't I get off this dinner table with my mom? When somewhere in your head you know you're with your buddy, or you know you're in your room, or you know you're maybe in a dangerous spot walking, and then you just don't have the ability to overcome that realm of disillusion, your reality and non-reality. And you may think that you're stuck in 3 hours of a memory when actually you're verbalizing and you're acting out 10 seconds of something. And it's a complete disconnect. The disconnect is so far. It's so far. And that's where the syndrome begins, is that there's no sensible reason for you to be doing what you're doing except for a small, minuscule, memorable, traumatic attachment to some key phrase they may be using.
Sounds like life.
Sometimes it could be. Oh yeah, I think so.
I think so. That is
That's
crazy.
Why mushrooms are crazy, right?
Yeah.
You can maybe not be traumatized, take the same mushroom as someone that's traumatized. They could end up in the looping syndrome.
Yeah.
Trauma.
God, you're being weird, Kat. I don't like
Fishing.
that. It's I feel like it's a catfish right now. It's just fucking wiping its tail on me.
Ugh.
Like trying to get all
Corona
seductive
tail.
with it, like a fucking feather. Like, how come girls don't use feathers anymore?
I know.
What happened to feathers as seductive tools?
Yeah.
Did
you
that's
know
okay. I'm
World War
ticklish
I?
as fuck. Girls don't bring feathers back.
Don't bring feathers back. You know, in World War I, they would stick white feathers on non-military uniformed young men starting at the age of 13 to get them out on the draft. Oh, there was no draft, so they were trying to avoid the draft, and they filled the war with just females, young to 30-year-old females, just hackling the living shit out of any kid they saw out of military uniform. And they would give them a flower, and there was poems that they would give them, and they would all just be like, you are a turkey, you're a chicken, you should do your right for the country. Meanwhile, your brother's out marching for his country, you're here doing this.
Who is heckling these girls? Who are these people?
No, or the government and propaganda and their parents and their mom and their teacher and their girlfriends and the church.
Wait. I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I was listening to it on Joe Rogan. They were talking, maybe Joe Rogan. They're talking. Oh no, it was on my. If you like geographics, if you like biographics, both of those are YouTube channels, and it's like some very libertarian, skinny, glasses, British dude with an awesome accent, and he just goes through all of these deep, very connected information routes of history facts you wouldn't necessarily hear about normally that sometimes become useful in conversation right now a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of stuff I learned about Andorra. It's an Italian village that still exists, and it's one of the oldest existing economies, and it's turned into kind of a laundering state where people will go and leave it has a bunch of fake banks and stuff. But Napoleon or whatever his name was, he came up to this place in Dora when he was taking over the world, and he left it alone, and it couldn't protect itself whatsoever. He has a quote that says, Andorra is a political curiosity that must be preserved.
And where is it at?
It's in the hills of Spain. It's called Andorra. And it's an existing nation and economy.
We'll have to get better at looking stuff up.
Yeah.
I don't.
When I bring stuff up, I could get it on my phone immediately.
But no, we don't need to dive too into it.
But the feather thing, we can look that up.
So what's going on with the feathers? What's the point of the feather?
The feather was so that you can't get home without someone else not knowing that you were seen and told to do your part for the war.
But why? Who feels this need to do this? Why are people putting feathers on? But I'm confused. So give me a story here. Give me a scene.
A scene.
So I'm a boy.
You're a boy.
Yeah.
You were just sweeping up at the poultry shop.
Yeah, and so this is 1915. No, no, we're not in the war yet. 1917. U.S. is in World War I by then, right? 1917? Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can say 1918 too, either one. World War I. Alright, so I'm looking up
the story.
White feather meaning World War I. Here we go.
We're gonna the propaganda of propaganda.
The people's knowledge, right here, Wikipedia. White feather, if you look it up, it says the white feather is a widely recognized symbol, although its meaning varies significantly between countries and cultures. In the United Kingdom and the countries of British Empire since the 18th century, it has been used as a symbol of cowardice, used by patriotic groups, including prominent members of the suffragette movement and early feminists, in order to shame men into enlisting. However, in some cases of pacifism in the United States Armed Forces, it is used to signify extraordinary bravery. That can be fucking confusing.
That's confusing.
And excellence in combat marksmanship.
What?
Oh, fascinating though. So they wouldn't put them on little girls though. It was just about pressuring young men. It was the
girls pressuring the boys because they had the power. The girls had the power.
Yeah, well, women always have power. They have pussies.
Mm-hmm. Imagine being
shout
a
out to
dirty-ass
creatures.
Motherfucking kid in 1912 and a piece of ass walks up to you. You're going to do anything.
You think they teased them into a feather?
Oh, yeah.
They're like, hey, sweet boy, come around the corner. And then they bring you around and they kick your ass and give
Nancy's
you a feather
there,
and
and she's 3'10", and she grabs you like a bear.
Incredible. Is there anything else?
Facts.
Symbol of cowardice. Here, let's look up the... let's do the quote. We had a quote here from World War I. This is from Private Norman Demuth, who had been discharged from the British Army after he had been wounded in 1916. Received numerous white feathers after he returned from the Western Front. Poor fucking guy, he got wounded. And women are calling him a bitch. Leave the man alone. So it says...
got blown straight up. What do you mean?
God, how disappointing, right? Women just, I guess
so
that's...
disappointing. I was watching the video, I was like, oh God.
Okay, let's read the quote. It says, almost the last feather I received was on the bus. It's like Forrest Gump. What's that? Is there any connection with that white feather and Forrest Gump? About Forrest Gump being a bitch for not... No, but he was in the war.
He was in the war and he left and then he's running.
A heroic person in the war.
He came running from
according
the war
to this, it is also a symbol of, like we said, to signify extraordinary bravery and excellence in combat marksmanship.
That's true. The feather on the combat arm. I've seen that.
The feather in his book. And he keeps a feather. There's some feather for some reason.
I never read the book.
We'll have to look up.
Okay.
No, it's not. There's the feather in the book. He opens it. This feather flies out. That's all I remember. But this white feather follows him around.
Wow.
But So this quote, he almost the last feather I received was on a bus. I was sitting near the door when. So we're just gonna put it in real terms. Almost the last time I got called a bitch was on the bus. I was sitting near the door when I became aware of two women on the other side talking at me. And I thought of myself, oh Lord, here we go again. Real as fuck. I love history, man. This is the best history. Quotes. One leant forward and produced a feather. It's like he got iced, but being a bitch. And said, here's a gift for a brave soldier. And I took it and said, thank you very much. I wanted one of those. Then, maybe, is she being ironic?
He won.
Very much. I wanted one of those. Then I took out my pipe. Then I took my pipe out of my pocket. And, pipes up. There you go.
Cheers.
I took my pipe out my pocket and put this feather down the stem and worked it in a way I've never worked a pipe cleaner before. When it was filthy, I pulled it out and said, we didn't get these in the trenches, and handed it back to her. Fuck yeah, use it as a pipe cleaner, a fucking G! Oh man! I think he could be exaggerating a little bit. But no, I'm on his side. Fuck that. She instinctively put out her hand and took it. Atta girl. So there she was, sitting with this filthy pipe cleaner in her hand, and all the other people on the bus began to get indignant. And INDIGN, indignant?
Indignant, yeah.
What's indignant mean?
Indignative would be the opposite. You would have too much dignity, and they were using their dignity to kind of shitty.
Feeling or showing anger or annoyance. They were annoyed at him.
Yeah.
They scoffed.
Sniffing at him.
Then she dropped it and got up to get out. But we were nowhere near a stopping place, and the bus went on quite a long while.
We're in this ride together, baby.
Got well and truly baracked by the rest of the people on the bus. I sat back and laughed like mad. What a G!
He won.
Wow,
that's so great.
History's great. Supporters of the campaign were not easily put off. A woman who confronted a young man in London demanded to know why he was not in the army. Because I am German, he replied. He received a white feather anyway. God, don't
fight for
be
your country
rude.
and decide. That's so crazy.
Let's never bring that back. It'd be kind of funny though. I mean, a lot of
suffragettes.
That it would be different. It's like the exact opposite of stolen valor, but a lot of people just have a lot of work to do.
Stolen valor? When people...
Well, it's like the opposite, because instead of wearing a uniform, you just wear a bitch uniform.
Yeah.
Like instead of the soldiers having to dress up to show their superiority, you simply dress down to show that you just are so much lesser.
Yeah, we're running there. I feel like in dystopian in novels, it's like where the polarization of everything, that's where it's going to end up. It's going to end up with these ideological
we've already
groups that
been
can't
there.
decide
Hey,
where
we're already there. We've
Absolutely.
improved. I think we're improving.
Yeah.
I think we're improving. I don't think we're going to get divided. I think we're going to come together. Okay. I think we're slowly going to become equals more and more, although, because I feel like eventually money's going to run out of steam.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think this idea of this extreme richness is at some point gonna dissolve. I don't know how, I don't know what, but money hasn't been around for too long.
No.
You know, like forms of it. But I think we're gonna reach a point where it's like we can just access each other at any one point in time. And if you can do that, things can be taken. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
So then at that point, what's the only thing that can't be taken? Your intellectual property.
Okay.
You know, the thing that's inside you that you haven't. Yeah. It's not. It's the only thing that actually is personally yours in the reality of everything. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I can keep from you.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to tell you about this plan that I have.
That is the only thing that I could physically keep from you. Everything else you could take, except for my thoughts.
Absolutely.
So I could easily see how in like 1,000 fucking years that is going to be the only thing worth protecting. And luckily we have it inside of us. Maybe that's why we do have these thoughts inside of us, because that is the only thing worth protecting. These ideas. Everything else you can lose, forget that. Even for like the body, you can cut off the arm. Who cares? Maybe we're just vessels trying to get to a point of consciousness in which like the only thing you're harboring are your fucking thoughts.
Yeah.
You sit in a fucking little tank and you float and you're just trying to preserve your thoughts. And then you realize that like literally that is all you fucking need.
Yeah.
That is the power, and from there you create. And then from there what are we but gods?
Mm-hmm. But then where's everything gone?
Everything's dead already.
You think so? Okay. That's
everything eventually gets there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything eventually gets to just a still energy. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what a rock is a hard shell protecting thoughts. Like it's such a purely
in Nordic mythology, stones are fucking. You don't move a stone in like Greeks.
It's perfected it. I didn't know that existed though.
Yes, yeah. The Roman roads, they would see a boulder, they'd build the road around it. Because if you move that boulder, you moved a soul. You moved a person. And
where does that come from?
Everywhere. It has Nordic roots. It has Roman roots. It has Greek roots. It has Viking roots. It's crazy.
Beliefs and stone soul.
No, look up Nordic fables involving
death and Norse paganism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Deaths around stone. People disappear the fuck away, gone, never seen again. The only thing surrounding them were boulders.
So death and Norse paganism was associated with varying customs and beliefs.
Guys, there's a story of a dude that got sucked into boulders, and he has stories of living in those boulders for 3 days. It was a vast city, and then he somehow was spit back out, or he should have died. There's people that just disappear. That's where they went.
Allegedly.
You
can choose that's a choice to believe that one. We'll be starting a religion around it soon. You can follow our cult.
It's already a religion. No joke.
So not only could a Viking funeral be performed a number of ways, the idea of the soul was associated with various notions as well as of where the dead went in their afterlife, such as Bahala, Hell, Gimli, the soul. Let's see, I'm going to look for the word stone here. Ancestor worship, afterlife.
You know.
How do you search up things? You know what I mean? How do I do a word search?
Like a word search?
No, just I know you can do a bop, like an F13 or something.
Oh, I don't know. Yes.
And you can search shit. I can search that, but that's okay. I'm not.
You would copy and paste in an F13 or something?
There's no F13. I named one number.
No, it was my example again. Yeah.
Don't. Yeah, I know. I was just hoping my muscle memory would do it, and clearly I named a number that doesn't even exist on my keyboard. That's all right. We'll learn we'll improve with our technology as we go on this podcast here.
Big sip of coffee. I bet that the world of gnomes in Nordic mythology is slightly. It has another name. It's like Ungorthon or some weird shit. I bet that's connected to the idea that underneath stone, underneath dirt, there's this vast realm that you don't simply get to walk into. That you have to be either invited into, that you have to be part of, in nature and in mysticism and blood, able to surpass past this two-dimensional world into that other worldly dimension. And yet I got sucked into. I was gone. I could not process anything else for 4 weeks. There's this documentary string called 404 Missing, I believe, and I'm going on YouTube right now as I speak. And
we can't play anything.
No, I just want to make sure I have the name of the documentary correct.
And can you remind me what we're looking up again? When I asked.
This, what I'm looking up, is a documentary about a series of 400 or so people in the United States and in Canada who have gone missing in national parks, and the only connection to their missing person cases is the fact that they were either in an extremely isolated spot. That's if there's a connection to these cases, extreme isolation is the.
So they were. They were alone.
Extreme isolation. There couldn't have possibly been, maybe even in some cases, a predatory animal that killed them. There couldn't have been a snowstorm that killed them. There couldn't have been a spring waterfall. They disappear and then reappear gnarled and torn apart. Their clothes will be. Their hiking helmet will be crushed.
Are they dead?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an animal.
But an animal can't take. Okay,
animal
so
can do
here's
whatever
one.
the fuck it wants.
No, listen to this. Here's one. The kid, he is camping with his. Listen.
Okay,
listen.
all right.
A kid.
I'm in.
I spent 4 weeks.
I'm in.
I'm crazy about it.
I'm in.
This kid, he was camping with his. He was camping with his mom, Uncle Bob, Grandpa, Uncle Bob, and Mom go walking down the creek path. And the little kid's 4 years old, and he's autistic, so he has an hearing aid in and like some clothes, like I don't want to mix up two different stories here. A shirt that it was like a red plaid shirt. So he walked back from me to like maybe the round, just the shot around the house, like the house making the bend, and the kid disappears in that time, or he didn't even disappear in that time. He made it back, and the grandpa's sitting there with him, and the parents come back, and the kid's gone, and and everyone's like, "Grandpa, where's the kid?" And the grandpa, the theory is...
So the kid ran off again?
In theory. The theory is that the kid ran off and the grandpa went into the trailer without letting everybody know and was so embarrassed by that to take a shot. They're camping, to drink a beer. Maybe he smokes a spliff in there.
Yeah.
And he feels
How old's the kid?
Embarrassed that he's 4 years old.
Oh, 4,
and
okay.
He's so, I mean, I lost the kid. He lies. And he says, I've been here the whole time. The kid was right there 45 seconds ago, right? But that's what the grandpa said. They found this kid's hearing aid and a shard of his bone 32. It was like
killed him.
It was 3.5 miles up a straight shot mountain. 3.5 miles away from where they were. All they found was a little shard of a hearing aid and like some bone fragments from the kid. There's nothing else, like a little scrape of his shirt. Nothing else. Carried up 3.5 miles. They didn't find any other piece of this child.
Wow.
Hearing aid and a little bone of shards. And then there's a guy camping, hiking up a trail, and he's hiking, and he gets lost on his trail, and he's never found again, and they never found alive. They sent on-foot crews. They did like I don't know how long the searches last. I think there's like a period. It's like 14 days or something where they'll stop searching after this.
Yeah.
They did the whole search and they stopped. And then I think 23 days later or something, a hiking couple, a family, stumbles upon his body in like the same exact spot that the entire crew, the crew of 100 people had combed person by person, hand by hand, looking for this man's body. They found him on the bottom of like a crevasse, and his helmet was like caved in, and he had claw marks on him, and his bones were torn apart. And it's like, yes,
you know what it sounds like.
An animal could have done that.
You know what it sounds like.
What?
Bigfoot.
It's something. It's something.
Fucking Bigfoot.
It's something. I love I love doing spectacles, but like with looking into this for as long as I did, I drove my ex crazy. I was
Bigfoot's
like,
been driving exes crazy since the beginning.
There's people just fucking falling off the face of the earth here.
Bigfoot!
And it's so weird. It's crazy. And
there's just for the sake of humor, there's a book, I don't remember the author's name, called Come for Bigfoot. They have erotica because there's no shortage of Bigfoot content. They have erotica for we should check the camera too to make sure it's going.
Yeah.
I could see how nothing would record.
No, we're at 49 minutes and 15 seconds.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Just we'll make sure. But no, it's just Bigfoot erotica. I got Bigfoot socks. Bigfoot's kind of cool. I can't say I'm on the hype. I am on the hype. I can't say I would say I believe Bigfoot's real.
I think there's some shit, dude.
But I think it's interesting. I remember learning you can never assume a community is wholesome or one. You would think maybe that all people in the Bigfoot community, and I apologize, Bigfoot community, if I'm butchering this in any way. But I feel like all people, what?
I found it. The case.
Okay, cool.
Study.
One sec. Let me get this out, going. And then we'll. Fine. You're being seductively weird, stray cat. No, what I was going to say was, as with most groups, especially throughout history, it's fascinating how divided the Bigfoot community is. You have all sorts of ones. Bigfoot is maybe just a creature in the woods, all the way to Bigfoot is a space warping time alien who can teleport and
he's so smart than we are.
Or there's he buries his, like people say, or where's his poop, where's that?
Oh.
People, all sorts of, he doesn't poop, man.
He doesn't poop, man.
He's solar powered.
That motherfucker, man.
He's solar powered.
Diesel, bro.
What are other great conspiracy creatures?
Conspiracy creatures like the all the ocean things. Right?
There's Mothman, right?
That's a great one. Let's talk about ones like right now. Mothman.
No, I don't know. What other ones are there? What ones have been out there?
What my mind goes to immediately is like the old Loch Ness Monster.
Hell yeah.
How many combinations of myths and history and fear and protection of children. I don't want my kid in 9th century Essex, London, going anywhere near the Thames River. I can tell you that right. So I'm gonna tell my kid there's a fucking monster over there, and if you go anywhere near the Thames River, it's gonna suck you right the hell in. So you stay away. Yeah. And that could have been 8 steps into the whole keeping my kid away from shit I don't want it near. Maybe the poor people had to localize around water, and the kid could have gotten taken by a real person, and you just keep them away from that area unless they're with you.
Yeah.
So that kind of accumulates this fear. I mean, we all know there's these German stories of Saint Nicholas who was evil in the beginning, and Krampus, and that's just German, or look at me go. And that's just that's just one nation's history of like fables.
Yeah.
Built around an idea of protection. And in like American
they're all
Indian,
built around protection. What's for
absolutely,
is that religion?
Everything. Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's a story.
So it's like the same
created to protect you.
Yeah, that was that's like what I'm trying to touch on. Is that like it's like the same thing. We create these monsters in history and fables as another archetype of responsibility for a kid to grow into. Mm-hmm. So that eventually they can make that decision: is Santa real? Is Krampus real? Is the Loch Ness Monster real?
Yeah.
Or is this some form of the Bible that I'm supposed to construe into philosophy?
That'd be a fun topic. We should look at the evil characters and the reason behind them. What are they protecting us from?
I love that.
We should look at evil fictional characters and make a chart or list of the things that they protect us from,
and, like
dive into them. There's probably like many dope ass
pop Hollywood, and then like mythology, or I guess what we're talking about, like Celtic culticism, not culticism, but like Celticism, where it's like, the sun's calling to us, we need to dance in the summer. Like stuff like that, like myths.
I get lost.
When I say the word myth, I think Greek, so it's like no.
Okay. I like the idea of looking at the Dalai Lama. Let me go back. I read this and it stuck with me. I read like 3 sentences from this book by the Dalai Lama. But one of the most powerful things that stuck with me, and I loved it, was like, the most valuable teacher in your life is your greatest enemy. Yeah. And like, because they teach you patience, mm-hmm. they teach you about what gets to you, what annoys you. And you think about, all right, so if you take that and you say, if the greatest teacher is your biggest enemy, well, let's, like we were saying, let's look at the enemies of myths, stories, tales. We could look at, like, I don't know why fucking Ursula's pumping in my head right now, but I'm like, what lesson could we learn from Ursula?
I got it already. That one's done.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know much about the Disney.
It was a drag queen that they designed her after, and she was very famous and very activist. And it was like. So what's the
So what was Ursula protecting us from?
That's the thing. It's not done actually. I just know who it was built after. So it could totally be like, it could be they were creating some dark image for dykes, or they were creating some slot for dykes to be powerful in. And I know a lot of dykes. I'm joking. Yeah. But like,
I think it's a term they use.
Cool.
Let us know. I think so.
We love you. Give us our word. Give us your word. I've met like people that like really love that role for LGBTQ. Really love it. Because it, like,
I know.
It's like this raw,
I imagine it's empowering. Well, it's fantastic. Mm-hmm. You know, it's
it's crazy. Yeah.
It's it's very.
I don't
like it's such a it's a fun character.
Growing up, I think I was very I was so disappointed in her character. I really was. Ursula, when I was young, I had no idea what was going on with her. I didn't know history or. I was just like, why?
You're just mad at the
evil squid bitch doing stuff like this. Why not something else? That's all. I don't know.
Really?
It was like straightforward. I hated SpongeBob. I'd watch SpongeBob and I would just be like, this is the most dry humor I've ever seen.
It's crazy. What humor? What did you enjoy?
I know what was I just humor? Stared at walls.
Hey, that make me laugh sometimes from the right mindset.
On the TV, I loved watching like Flapjack, and I have sisters, so I would watch
Flapjack.
Oh, it's great.
I guess
it might be
So you're 20.
It might be 2 years after you. Those were times I shouldn't have been watching TV before school, and I was.
Yeah, I've never.
It's
Flapjack
like, dude, go
seemed.
When you? I'm watching Flapjack at 13, 12.
Okay.
I think the first time I watched Flapjack, probably 12, 13.
Yeah, must have been. But that's still shocking to me. I'm trying to think of what shows I was watching, and Flapjack seemed after me. It was
the last show almost that I started watching. That was like still like, I love this, and this was built for me, and it's like because I'm a kid.
Yeah.
Past that, it was like enjoying like old stuff or new stuff that I felt I was like falling into cliches with. I forgot what I was saying. With Flapjack, I had sisters, so they would be watching Hannah Montana. We only had one TV. When I was watching my TV, it would be like how it's made. I loved how it's made. I loved like
you talk about dry ass shows. How It's Made's pretty dry. Now it is fun and it is enjoyable. It's fun. Pretty fucking dry.
Dirty Jobs is awesome.
Dirty Jobs.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's a good show.
But I debunked. I was talking to my vet friend who works at the. Go see Ariana Lindsay over at the Sebastopol Katati Animal Hospital. If you have anything with your horse, if your horse needs to give birth, if your horse needs to do anything, she'll pull up with her boss and some other girl, and they'll fucking take care of everything. They're so sick. And she was talking about how I was listening to him speak about what would you call it? When you put the rubber band around, or you cut sheep balls off, fixing
castrate.
So like the EPA says that you don't castrate your horse, you castrate your sheep. Yeah, I don't think you can castrate a horse. Actually, I think it would die. I guarantee you it would die.
You can castrate anything.
Fucking size of those balls. I don't know if you can castrate anything.
I think you can castrate anything.
I think there's a point where you
can milk anything in nipples.
I think there's a point where like those arteries and those veins are too large to close, right? Maybe
no, I have no idea.
Perfect. Maybe nature is perfect.
I think you can cut anything's balls off and it'll live. I would hate to think if your
take
balls
a searing iron right there.
I would get why you would not want to live. I would understand that.
No, yeah, I don't fear bleeding out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just looking at my notebook here. We could have a notebook section too as we progress. Like I don't know things I write shit in my notebook that I eventually would be like, this would be dope to share out. So I'm just thinking of
to read. I don't know if I was gonna read it to you when I got back or on camera, but I was getting into it when you called yesterday. I was like 3 lines in.
No, we can just. I just think it's a fun topic. Just think of topics we could talk about. Again, let us know on Naturally Silly.
Yeah,
what topics you guys want to talk about. Ask me how my fucking hamstrings feel, Zach.
How do your hamstrings feel?
They're fucking Stretched.
Yeah.
Really fucking stretched.
Oh yeah, you did like
feel
3 yoga sessions.
Open, yeah. I've been doing a shit ton of yoga over this quarantine, and I have realized and been avoiding that my hamstrings are by far the worst fucking tightest most aspect of my body. But I did learn how to test your hamstrings flexibility. It's called a 90-90 test. What you would do is you would essentially, I don't want to do it, I guess, but you would lay down and you would have, I'll just fucking do it. It's cool. And so you can,
okay.
Yeah, I think see, so one leg's out, one leg is here, and then what you do is you just want to stretch your leg, and then essentially you would measure down here how straight you can get it, and I guess average is about 75, but you want to be able to get it all the way up. So you would stretch like that. But it's been good. And I would say, so as far as yoga goes, if I'm gonna talk about it, it's been absolutely amazing for like my depression and anxiety, which I think is huge, because like you think it's mainly about the stretching, and then you realize you're literally focusing on one thing for like 45 minutes. And focusing only on one thing for 45 minutes is something that we almost never do anymore. Our attention is always halfway here, or at least like 10% somewhere, 10% here, and then maybe like 75% focused on a topic. But if you like you're dialed in, and especially if you can close your eyes, reduce your senses, like holy fuck, the amount of clarity that you get extending throughout that day it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And the flexibility and the mobility is dope too.
If you could add an amount of hours that you've added to your days since you've started doing yoga, do you feel that you have like an hour extra in your day, 2 hours? Do you feel like a number more than 2 hours being added to your day? I can imagine you feel your days are at least 2 hours longer. With being able to really sit with each moment a little bit more each day.
Like the feeling of it?
Yeah, just not feeling like you're tripping into an hour. Not feeling like how did I have this plan to clean and now it's been an hour and I've only gotten half of it done.
No, not like that. I'm still pretty slow and shit like that. It doesn't affect me there. But it does affect me in the sense that I don't give a shit. Like, my body is, like, my brain isn't thinking about other things. It's just like a brain thing for me. Like, if I'm doing the dishes now, like you were saying, like I'll just I'll naturally just focus on the dishes. It's no longer like my brain. It still does it, but it doesn't wander as much. And I think just the less wandering, the more stillness my brain has, the kind of more you turn it off. Like you feel more. You're in that moment more, and it's definitely enjoyable. But again, it's like it just brings me like a sense of calm. Like I think everybody's different, but I would have a hard time seeing how this wouldn't work for almost anyone, no matter what your fucking thing is. Mobility and peace of mind has been the greatest fucking thing ever. It's been so nice, and we'll see if I keep it up. I'm like a month in, but I sure hope I do. It's something will keep me honest in the podcast.
Yeah,
we'll see if I keep it up or not. But
great.
Luckily, and I guess the people don't know much about us, and it's not like we're people worth knowing about originally.
Nope.
So you'll learn about us as we kind of go through
your next president.
The podcast here. But yeah, so currently I'm at home though. I'm chilling. Normally a full-time high school teacher, but with the quarantine, that's all stopped. So I think to a certain degree, the days are definitely blending in together.
Avoiding psychosis as much as possible.
Yeah, but I think it's cool that we have the time to do this. I think I was
wondering, when's the last time you had this kind of time? Never. You've been going to school and
summers. Summers.
Okay.
I've been able to nail my summers.
Gotcha. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, when I was in junior college, I took summer classes.
Okay. Can I ask if your parents helped you through school payments?
Everything. Yeah. Okay. That was the coolest, most
dude, that's
freeing thing.
That is the most sure thing a parent can do for their kid.
Yeah, it's something
that they're good.
It's
going to school.
Yeah, it's a point of privilege that you can only acknowledge through your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes, yeah.
I'm just I don't know.
Privileged to see it that way.
Yeah, I don't have to stress about it. Shout out to all the parents out there paying for their kids' education.
Yeah. And then got your shitty ass kids at home right now, upset that they're in your second home.
Yeah. Not
in their home. You know,
yeah, I feel bad for all families that have to live together. If I had to live with my parents...
oh, man. I felt bad for my parents living with them, or my mom living with her, or my grandparents, anyone I was with at the time, because I'm I feel bad for you guys having to live with me. I'm someone that, is in the process of learning how to be around people that much. I've always been alone. Always. So it's a muscle memory movement that I'm in almost every day. Just learning how to not condescend people accidentally, and I feel I do that so much. It's just words come out and I'm oh my God. That is not what I meant, and now it's too late. And those are things
never too late.
I'm enjoying
always
working through. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
We are roommates. I don't think that's been out yet. Yeah. Also roomies.
Roomies, yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, my first roommate. Or I guess you would say my second in this house, but
yeah,
I just moved out of my family's house 6 months ago, end of December.
And how's the transfer been? How do you enjoy being out of the house?
It's a new world. If you have trauma in your home, the worst thing you could do for yourself is allow them to convince you that there's no trauma in your home. Mm-hmm. And for so long, every single person in my family has just you can say sniffed at someone, and then you can say is just infuriated with someone. Yeah. And my family has just been infuriated with me forever because I'm infuriated with them. And it's
I think I share a similar sentiment in one way or another.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I've broken some doors and.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy Zion, we used to play football, and I don't think I've ever broken a door in an argument or broken a door closing it, but we were just stupid. We played football. We put our pads on in my apartment. My mom wouldn't be home like always, and we would just run into walls with our pads on, and we would run into each other, and we would run into doors.
That's just fun. That sounds fucking great.
We'd bust them right off the hinges in an apartment.
Yeah, you guys are stupid.
Yes, that was fun shit.
What fun shit did you used to do as a kid?
Oh man.
What?
Let me get through being. Let me finish my thought of being out of the house. Though,
yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
What's happened over years and years is I've wasted time, a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. On what?
Everything except myself. Mm-hmm. I waste time on myself at times that don't matter, and then I invest in myself when I can. Mm-hmm. And I do more than most people, and I do less than others. But at the same time, I've spent all of my energy for my family, trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to give them this, trying to give them this, trying to be this for them, trying to keep this away from them, trying to keep this for myself. That's huge, because if you give something to my family, they take it. I try to say I want to do something, they take it immediately in whatever way they can, and it's so awful. And they force their awful schematicisms of themselves on me to the point where I'm constantly filtering through these things that I've accidentally stored in some way that is slipping out subconsciously in my motives or in my energy, when actually I meant to store them as pinpoints of never do this. this is what hurt you. Don't do this. This is what bothered you. And since they're on my frontal lobe of consciousness all the time, it slips out. It's called Freudian slips. It's like, oh shit, fuck, oh God, fucking damn it, God. And it's all the time. So since I haven't invested 100% in meditating myself throughout this experience of life, I'm still catching up. Whether I'm put together in whatever way or not, there's so many places I'm lacking, so many places I'm catching up, and so many places I'm still trying to find some sort of like answer and truth and peace that I'm everywhere all the time. I can never be one spot.
Yeah.
And until I start to learn how to localize my energy to myself.
Where have you found success and kind of figuring yourself out?
Every time I disconnect. Every time I level off.
How far do you got to disconnect?
A lot. I have to disconnect a lot. I mean, we're just trying to do a podcast this morning. I'm trying to take a trip out for the first time ever, actually, to my buddy's house. Really the first time I've ever like left town to go to a friend's house or do anything myself except like out of country. And they know this, yet my mom has convinced herself that she needs to like admit herself in the hospital this morning because she took too much weed pills because she's a pill addict. And not only does my mom call me to inform me of this and to ask all these questions and then hang up on me in the middle of the conversation with nothing, which is fine. Then my sister has to call later and let me know, oh gosh, are you home? Have you left yet? Mom is in the hospital. What are you doing? And it's just like, for like, that's a small example of like how immediately into my circle this becomes, whether it's my problem or not. Whether I've already talked to them about it, whether I gave her how to use the medication, whether she called me yesterday, which she did, about the medication. I'm dropping off Ativan at my mom's house. I'm dropping off weed pills at my mom's house. I'm her therapist. I'm Zoe's therapist. Until I have to cut those levels of communication completely off. Like I have to cut my mom off. At that one time a month she reaches out. That's what I have to cut off. Because that's the time she tries to check in and get me back for next week for something I need to do. But what I need to do is say, well, you've spent the last 6 years checking in once a month. Now I'm taking my opportunity to say that's not available anymore because that's not okay. Because it's not. So like, I have to protect myself in all levels of like immediate energy coming in. And then I have to protect myself from what I'm sending out. If I accidentally, which I have, I've convinced them that I can be a form of support to them. That's what I want to do with my life. Because I thought that was the simplest and easiest route to figuring both myself out and them out. I thought I could do them at the same time. I thought I could help them and help them. But anybody in the world is going to tell you, you figure yourself out. Anybody that wants you in their movement, anybody that wants you in their church, anybody that in their real church of heart, anybody that wants you in their spiritual realm, they're going to say, you first, right? Like, you need to figure yourself out. You can't be my accountant until you figure yourself out. You can't help me because I'm going to be running into how I need to help you 3 times a day. And like, that's something I can't do to people. So that's like where I've had to disconnect. I feel comfortable with leaving with the people that will be watching, that the best thing you could do is to level in on yourself, get yourself comfortable and in your own space as soon as possible, and to know that it's not your fault. Like, it's not your pain. It's something that's been given to you like a torch, and it's your choice to bear it.
I got a philosophy we're gonna have to dive into at some point that goes hard into these ideas of taking and receiving love and pain, and it's in my other notebook. I got into it for like a month, and I was like hard. Like, I felt like I was like in my own church or gospel spreading this shit.
I love that.
And so now I'm excited to share it.
I've never spent a month on something.
Like a straight up philosophy. Every night I would keep my journal by me, and I would wake up fucking right. I would wake up my roommate around 2 or 3 a.m. He'd be like, dude, I got an idea. Amazing. And he would be like, the fuck do you want? Shout out to Rafa.
Rafa!
Bob Morrow sounds exactly how you should have said that. It brings it on. It brings up another local topic that I want to eventually get to, which is the Sonoma State tennis team closing down. That's
for good, or for the season?
For good.
Oh,
they're no longer funding it right now.
Tennis team.
Wow. Proudly wearing their sweats right now, but
wow.
Yeah, but we can dive into that later. Where were we?
That's something to write down for sure.
Fuck, we were. I know we were on the topic of.
Oh yeah, so I brought us back so I can finish explaining what's the best thing you could do, and then you asked what was where did I find strengths and success?
Yes.
And I don't know if that's the question I left.
I think we had one before that, but that's okay. It's the natural. This is a cool art piece that we got on our table here. I thought I wanted to mention it. I thought it was pretty awesome. Cool. I like that. Was that you or was that Jolie?
This is me. Yeah.
You, yeah. Definitely a little more physical, artistic. I like the stuff you do. Well,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like to decorate my space a lot.
Hopefully this table will be getting some good decorations. We'll be hopefully getting stuff.
Oh yeah.
If you got cool stuff you want to send us, we'll always take free stuff. We'll put it on the table.
Yeah, we'll open up a Venmo to send money back. We should do donations back.
Donations?
We'll pay you
$2. We're not paying you shit.
We'll pay you $2 for anything.
We're not paying anything.
No, okay.
No, $2 for anything. That's kind of fun.
$2 for anything.
We'll pay you $2 for anything, but not anything. But because they're gonna give us a paperclip, we gotta pay them $2 for it.
We have the right to refuse service. We can send back the sender.
You have to include a return address for your product. But yeah, we'll pay $2 for anything.
We're gonna have all these requests.
100%. We'll pay you $2 if you make us a cool, naturally silly logo.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Or a theme song. Either one. Or I play a little guitar. We can make. We're practicing. So do you.
Yeah.
We'll make our own theme song.
The buddies that want to do the podcast as well, and what they'd like to do for sure would be like, so they have all of us right now at this moment are spread out of 3 houses. And then me and you are here. Nick and Anthony are brothers, and they're in one house. And then David is in his house, and they're all in Petaluma. And David has like a really large space that they do movie nights every Friday, and then they do open mic on Fridays, and it's like karaoke. And they do it in his garage, and they have like a pretty large TV that they connect like prompts to, and the 2 brothers, Anthony and David, are serious musicians. So they have all the PA systems that we could ever need. Everything. So they'll be able to really like set up, maybe possibly if we're all together, camera, equipment, cords, lights, and the screens themselves. I think they have all of that.
Yeah, folks, we got a fucking crew.
Yeah, they're fucking beautiful. Nick and Anthony,
give them a shout out.
I love the living shit out of both of you. I think their last name is Sereno. S-E-R-E-N.
There we go. I don't know him yet.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I'm excited to meet him.
Great.
Like we said, naturally silly Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah. So they'd love to do it. They'd love to set it up from their house
clan.
one day, set it up from our house the other day, and both of us are there. Both of us are
the
not.
naturally silly clan. I don't think we should use clan. I think we should pass on the word clan.
I think clan should be passed.
I don't think we're gonna stick with the.
And we're working through names.
Yeah.
We're fine. I like naturally silly so far, but I feel like one's gonna come out. It'll ring. I'll find something in my notebook to bring out to you. A couple more days.
Oh.
Well, what was I gonna say? Well, they could help us out a lot, and they're definitely excited. And Nick works at a printing shop on North, the boulevard. There's you're passing on the right, and if it's like a hot day and it's nice and it's popular out and not coronavirus, there's like the t-shirt printing shop, and you could see like all the t-shirt printing stations like through the big window, and it's like the big nice building plaster. He works in there, and his boss will just let him print shit. And he's printing me and him something for the art shows. And all of the t-shirts that we will be selling at the art shows will be printed at that shop, and they'll be designed at that shop. And I think I packed the shirt away. I have this Aphasia shirt. It's their band, APHASIA. Fucking love you guys.
Aphasia.
And he did the logo, and it's crazy. There's like, there's a bunch of shit. It's kind of like this art right here.
Okay.
It's crazy how well he can do art. And then they just slay on the guitar, and they're so super creative. They write.
We'll have to get him.
His girlfriend, he said, is one maddening conspiracist, and she wants to join.
Yeah.
And we'd all, like, she'd love to do it from her house because she's never with him. So it could literally just be his girl on the laptop one day doing the podcast. It'd be awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
as soon as it's not Corona time. And sitting while Corona time, we'll all get on a webcam. Let's go on Zoom together and record that.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, I think it would be better if we can keep it as much in person as possible.
Cool, yeah, absolutely.
But, we'll figure it out. Yeah. Again, even if they want to do their podcast there, and then we could just have easy, it's easy to make content. The more content, the better. We'll give you content, people. We'll give you it all. I think that's a pretty decent place to maybe call it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got more crew members, as we said. As of right now, Naturally Silly. We'll decide from onward. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks,
Zack. Good talking to you.
Good talking to you, folks.
Yeah.
That's all, folks.
Alrighty. Yeah. You guys have a good one. What's today? Friday? Enjoy your Fridays.
Yeah, Friday. We're supposed to work tonight, going to Fresno.
There we go. Yeah. Alrighty. So,
we love you.
Yep. Adios.
Cheers.
Good shit. Found it out.
Yeah.
Well,
first episode on camera. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I felt good too. I wasn't stumbling over here.
I think it'll just practice.
Link this book, man, at some point. When you have time. This book isn't go through. I'm gonna have my art. This is an architecture book. I'm like obsessed.
Piss like a dog. That's dope about your friends.
They're crazy, man. I'm a lucky dude. I met him at Ray's when I was like 16, and he was like this mountain dude.
Still got.